Now that's an intro. Alright, first things first, I am not an expert. I'm not a professional mechanic. I am a professional comedian, and there is a big difference. I'm just very passionate about riding. I'm not claiming to be some sort of motorcycle Wonder Woman. I just have seen a lot of how-to videos on YouTube from terrible camera angles, and frankly, a lot of them were just, well, stupid. So I wanted to make something a little bit different. So definitely download a copy of your service manual for your specific bike. Get yourself some basic tools, and then we'll get through this together, and you can watch me mess up instead of you. All right, so let's get this started. Today, I'll be doing an oil change on a 2018 Harley Davidson Heritage Softail, and yes, that's the one with the engine. You need a few supplies to get started. Now, for this oil change, we need oil. I'll also need a funnel and some gloves, an oil filter wrench, some basic ratchet set, and drain pan, and then everything to protect the floor. Most importantly, a dog. So the oil drains a little bit faster. Warm up your bike. Or even better, go for a ride. You know? You want it lukewarm, though, not scalding hot. So I have my drain pan here. Just unscrewing it. Don't forget to unscrew the plug. I've done it. It's a big fucking mess. You don't want to do that. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. After you shut off your engine and you got your drain pan all set up and stuff to protect the ground in case you spill because you're a dumbass, you do want to make sure that the bike has cooled off a little bit before doing this because, you know, exhaust pipes, those things are hot. Sometimes drain plugs are stuck on there pretty good. I used a breaker bar just to crack it open, then unscrewed the rest of it by hand to let it out. This step, you're just letting the oil out into the drain pan that you definitely made sure could drain. While you're waiting for that, you can check the plug itself. It has a little magnetic tip thingy at the end, just the tip. You want to look for metal pieces on it. Sometimes has a little bit, that's fine. You just don't want it to be covered. Oh, look, this is why I don't get my nails done. So this is why you got to change your oil on the regular, because look how dirty that is. You don't want all that sludge going around through your engine. No, you want to be able to ride your bike whenever you want to ride it. So here's, it's a little OCD. I like to clean up the plug a little bit. I took a wire brush because, you know, it still touches the oil. Look at difference between the right and left side. Listen, don't be a cheap bastard. Just remove and replace the O-ring so your bike doesn't leak oil. Now, once it's dribbling out like an old man trying to pee, it's almost done. I wanted to dispose of it properly by state guidelines. I can return this to my local AutoZone, what have you. I had some other oil bottles lying around, so I just poured that back in. And it has these nice little lines on them, so you know how much came out. Almost like they knew what they were doing. To remove the oil filter, you're going to need an oil filter wrench, because that is not coming off by hand, nor should it. You want to make sure it's the right size. Refer to your service manual. This one just happens to be 76 millimeter, 14 flutes. Then you want to start setting up your drain pan again underneath. I use tin foil because I want to chrome out my bike. No, I'm using tin foil because I want to make sure that I don't get oil all over my bike. Not that big a deal if you do. I just want to prevent that. I don't want to have to wipe it off afterwards. It's weird. But also tin foil, you can form into the shape of like a funnel that goes directly down into the drain pan. You don't really need your shifter to be lubed. So here I cracked it open with a wrench. I forgot to film it, but you know, you saw it. Now I'm taking it off by hand, and you want to make sure you kind of take it off at a bit of an angle there so it doesn't get everywhere, but we have that protection of the oil slide that we built. So just empty out the rest of the canister right into the drain pan. Just make sure you check to see that the O-ring came off with the filter as well, the little rubber gasket at the top. He's helping. Best helper I know. Now, I know not everybody has one of these just lying around, but they are pretty easy to find at your local shelter. Now, just clean up that last little bit of oil that did miss the foil. I really wish that didn't rhyme. Taking out the new filter. You want to make sure that you check your service manual or just ask the people at O'Reilly's. I don't know, they don't pay me. But find out what filter goes to your bike. Now, I'm taking a little bit of clean oil here, going over the top of the gasket, just to make sure it does seat properly. Give it a good rim job, like don't be afraid of lube. Lube is your friend and mine. And once you have given your new filter a sufficient and heartfelt rim job, it is ready to go back on the bike. You want to only tighten this down by hand. Do not use a wrench, or you'll regret it when you go to take it off. Now we're going to go replace the drain plug. I put it in a magnetic tray because if I don't, it gets lost somewhere in the driveway. So you want to make sure you put on a new O-ring. This filter just happened to come with a new O-ring for your drain plug, which is great, right? Also, lube that up. Lube that bitch up. Because it can sometimes be a pain in the ass to get that back onto the bolt. Now, right now, I'm only going to hand tighten this back onto the bike. We'll torque it down to spec later. Some people will take the dipstick out while it's draining. I wait because, what if a bird came and just shit right into it? Would absolutely be my luck. I don't think my insurance is going to pay for bird shit in my engine. Next step in an oil change is adding the oil. You do want to make sure you get the correct oil for your bike. You also want to make sure you give it the amount that it needs. Find the exact quart capacity that you are supposed to be pouring in there. Check your service manual. That's all. You do want to pour kind of slow. You don't want it to overflow. Oil's very expensive right now. And you can replace your dipstick and go ahead and make sure your bike starts up okay. Chat. Now that your bike's run for a little bit, you can go ahead and check the oil levels. This one has a nice indicator that says you can check it on its kickstand, but you do want to make sure that it falls within the full range. And then if it is, you can go ahead, replace the dipstick, and you can clean up. Now, I always like to keep the socket for the drain bolt in my little magnetic dish, so at the end, my stupid ass doesn't forget to torque it down to spec. And if you don't have a torque wrench and you plan on working on your bike, then definitely pick up a torque wrench. You can't mess around with things like wheels, foot pounds, inch pounds. You need both. Last little bit, make sure you label these things. You don't always get a chance to go to the store right away, and they need to be able to dispose of it properly too. And we're done here. We're done. Please like, subscribe, comment, or tell me to fuck myself.